Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, the leader in below-the-waist grooming. This holiday season, gift yourself the ultimate man's hygiene bundle, the Performance Package 4.0. Inside, you're going to find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag. With just this one package, you can align your entire hygiene routine. Their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer is my favorite. It features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. It also gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Plus, it's waterproof. Go to manscaped.com/Chael. That's going to save you 20% and get you free shipping. That's manscaped.com/Chael for 20% plus free shipping. And be thankful this holiday season for the best gift of all from Manscaped. Why do we do backup fighters? When do we do backup fighters? What is the relevance of a backup fighter? Now, I'm just asking you that question, guys. We don't have the answers to that. Like, we don't know in what case do we bring somebody in just in case. We saw that happen a couple of weeks ago. Islam versus Charles, and there's Volkanovski. But was that done to be polite? I mean, Volkanovski demanded that. Did we do that to be polite? Were we going to have a backup fighter that fight? And I've been very surprised. I like the backup fighter. See, for me, that's interesting. For me, that's an interesting twist. And for me, that's almost an honor to the guy. Finding a motivation in a sport as difficult as this, finding motivation in anything, guys, right? Even if it's something you really want to do, once you do it for years and years, getting that motivation is tough. You've got to be able to operate your life on discipline. If you don't, it's not going to work out for you. But I'm sharing for you. When you can't have those built-in incentives, I mean, what a cool spot to be the backup guy. You get a participation, you've got a finish line, you know what your weight needs to do, you get through the training camp. It's a really great position that could lead to other things. I personally like it. That's my submission for you. Now, when do we do it? It's a lot of times we don't even talk about it. I'll give you a fine example. I was at Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington Part 2. It was at Madison Square Garden. And we go in for the weigh-in. And it was such a big fight. It was the Mecca. The UFC was going to make sure that they had a plan and a backup plan. So without telling any of us at the weigh-in, in walks Luque. And Luque gets on the scale and we all go, oh, Luque's the backup fighter for the main event. They never told us they had a backup fighter. We didn't know there was a plan B. But then again, we're at Madison Square Garden. It's totally sold out. And of course, they're not going to let their main event go to waste. So, is that the right deduction? Is that why Luque was there? Does that sound reasonable to you? It was a pay-per-view, it was Madison Square Garden. Okay, great. Well, we're redoing those things now. We're back at Madison Square Garden. It's on pay-per-view. The World Championship is to be contested. Do you believe there's a backup fighter? If you think there's a backup fighter, please tell me who it is. Now, I really thought that I was close to making a reasonable contribution in form of an idea, but I was making a reasonable contribution to our sport when I said that Colby Covington, who's the number one contender, who can't fight for the championship because they're not going to give him part 3 with Kamaru Usman, should be able to use that golden ticket known as number one contender and move up a weight class and do it with Adesanya. Now, I thought that I realized perhaps I had the right tool, but I had it by the wrong end. I knew I was close on this. I was looking for a little back and forth and a little bit of help, but what I was suggesting also offered it parity. Whoever Izzy is going to fight next, we know will be a rematch. We know that because the top 5 guys he's already fought. So we know what's going to be next is it going to be a tri-match? He's not only beat guys within the top 5, he's beaten them twice. So very reasonably, we're going to get a rematch, which I don't think excites Adesanya. I think that Pereira has very good skills and he's got a decent backstory. This kickboxing business with Izzy, that never blew up into where the kickboxing community thought that was going to go, but it's a decent backstory. I think moreover, he had the blessing of Adesanya. Izzy wanted him to be the opponent. I think there's something to do with the parody there. I think it's something new from what I've been doing. Let's go ahead and try this. I think is part of it now. Who's going to be the backup guy for Adesanya? What would you do, and would you disagree with me, that the internet, which still runs our beloved sport, would you agree that the internet would explode, as the kids say, if Khamzat Chimaev comes through the curtain during the weigh-in between 9 and 11? Do you think there could be anybody that they could put in a backup position that would be as interesting as Chimaev? Now, we've got straight conspiracy here, because then you would need Chimaev and company to keep a secret, Izzy and company to keep a secret, Piera and company to keep a secret, which is just something that could not or does not happen in our sport. But what if? What if the first time ever they kept a secret? And what if between 9 and 11 a.m., while the commission is weighing guys in, Khamzat Chimaev walks through the curtain? He's an 85-pounder. His paperwork is done, and he will be here just in case you need him. What would that do? First off, do you have a better idea? No, I don't think you do. I think you like mine. Second, Chimaev has been oddly quiet lately. Can we agree on that? Chimaev has never not been calling people out, never not being aggressive, never not going to smash everybody. But moreover, he's been called out. He let some very tantalizing lines be spoken about him. He let a rumor that he's fighting Colby go without confirming or denying. He got flat called out by Belal Muhammad. He did not respond in the least. Many people, myself included, are putting it out there to the universe. What weight class is he? He's undefeated at 85. He's undefeated at 70. Where he's going to go? It seems as though something Chimaev would generally answer. He's been oddly quiet. Can we agree? Now, one reason that you go oddly quiet is because you already have a deal done. You've already focused in a different direction, which would leave a viability to perhaps he and Colby. But would it disqualify what I'm suggesting for you? Would it disqualify the idea that Chimaev is on his way to New York and is going to be the backup fighter at 185 pounds? Very unlikely. What if he was? It would tell us what weight class, right? Whether he gets in the ring or not, it would tell us what weight class he is now going after. It would solidify and lift him tremendously, right? To be a backup fighter, go ask Kamaru Usman how well that works out, or Michael Chandler how well that works out, or Volkanovski how well that works out. It's a huge deal. Very, very big deal, and it would solidify him. It would answer a lot of our questions. And who is next? That is a real tough one at 185 pounds. It is for sure going to be a rematch. For sure. Guys, has there been an Adesanya fight as great as you recognize that he is, and he is, but has there been an Adesanya fight in the last 2.5 to 3 years that you haven't complained about from an entertainment standpoint? Is there an Adesanya fight, more, or ask it just flat direct, that you want to see again? Because you're for sure going to, not maybe. All of the top guys he's already been in there with. So what would it do if you brought in a 170-pounder? How are you going to get that 70-pounder over? How are you going to get it convinced to the audience? Well, what if you bring him in a backup position? You don't use him at all. You just let the world see that. You put him in the front row and you see if Izzy organically does something with it. Do you have a better idea? Do you think that a backup fighter's not going to be used here? The last time we went to New York, the last time was for a world championship, the last time that it was on pay-per-view, we brought one in. Are we not doing it now? If not, why? I don't know those answers, sincerely. I truly don't know what goes into the formula that brings a backup fighter as opposed to the few events that we see. Championship, pay-per-view, headline. Well, we don't have one. I don't have that figured out yet. I see some commonalities with the last time we went to New York. I saw an added ingredient was a backup fighter, so I'm suggesting that we might have one here. That backup fighter also found a way to keep it very quiet. Nobody knew why Luque was even there when he walked through. I mean, we all, down on press row, we had to turn and ask ourselves, oh, that's right. Oh, he's the backup fighter. I got it, right? Couldn't even piece it together. That's how little information we have. Do you think it's possible that we are going to insert a backup fighter for all of the reasons that we inserted one the last time went to New York? And do you have somebody you'd rather that be than an oddly quiet, non-committal, dual weight class, Khamzat Chimaev.